Conducting clinical trial. One of the cornerstones of the randomized control trial is randomization. Randomized trial, clinical trial can be best described as experimental studies. Which of the following is true in clinical study? Sample size determination, approval from regulatory authority, agreement between the investigators and the sponsors. A pharmacologically inactive agent that investigator administered to participant controlled group of trial, that is placebo. A key methodological component of a randomized control trial are use of a control to which the experimental intervention is compared, random assignment of participant to intervention, taking informed consent from all study participants. Double blinding in a clinical trial involves a participant and investigator. Purpose of double blinding in a clinical trial is to avoid observer and participation bias. What is the purpose of randomized in a clinical trial? Achieve balance in a baseline characteristics. Which phase is referred to as post-surveillance surveillance, that is for long-term adverse effect and efficacy of a new drug can be tested in which of the following phases? Phase 2. Which of the following incorrect of a case of a clinical trial? All clinical trial must be blinded. That is an incorrect statement. Randomization is a critically important step in a clinical trial. All clinical trials must be approved by institutional ethics committee before initiation. It is mandatory to register clinical trials with the clinical registration of India. Which of the following procedure ensures safety of the clinical trial participants? Adverse effect reporting, serious adverse effect reporting, periodic follow-up, periodic safety record, monitoring record. Loss to follow-up of a study participant does not affect the study outcome. It is a wrong statement of clinical trial. It has all advantages of a cohort study. It is possible to analyze the co-founders, appropriate implement and informed consent procedure as well as long-term care and support to the trial participant help to overcome several ethical concerns. Which of the following can be considered as an advantage of double blinding in a randomized control trial? Prevent bias that arises from researcher being able to influence the data due to knowledge of the allocated groups. Biased outcome assessment resulting participant of reporting symptoms and outcome differently. In a clinical trial, what is the main purpose of randomization? To get a group with a comparable baseline characteristic. Which of the following can eliminate the problem of a co-intervention? Blinding. Which of the following is not a true cases of clinical trial? Clinical trials are usually free from selection bias. That's not a true statement. Clinical trials are planned experiments designed to assess the efficacy of an intervention. Clinical trials usually involve comparing the outcomes in two or more groups of individuals. Clinical trials are usually prospective in nature. Which of the following trials assess the effectiveness of a new vaccine? Phase 3 done in a healthy volunteers. Which of the following is not true about a randomized control trial? The dropout should be excluded from the analysis. That is a wrong statement. The baseline characteristic of intervention and control group must be similar. Investigator bias can be minimized by double blinding. The sample size depends upon the hypothesis being tested. State whether or true or false. In a randomized control trial, the investigator is unaware of the sequence of the allocation of participant to one of the study as before and until the assignment is complete. This process is known as allocation concealment. So the following is not a feature of randomized control trial. Simple random sampling is not a feature of randomized control trial, but randomization, allocation, concealment, blinding is a feature. A research group from a medical college in Lucknow conducted a study to assess the efficacy of a new herbal medicine for the prevention of pneumonia in elderly. What type of randomization? That is prophylactic RCT. Which type of population is phase 1 vaccine trial conducted healthy volunteers? State whether the randomization a process where the participants have an equal being assigned to any of the true statement. Which is not an advantage of randomized control trial. Entails minimum ethical issues, but provide high quality evidence as a control for selection and confounding bias, establish temporality of association. The post-marketing surveillance done in phase 4. State whether true or false randomized control trial are retrospective in nature. False statement. In a clinical trial conducted by the orthopedic department of Medical College in Bhubaneswar, the investigator compared the wound healing time between conventional suturing technique and sampling technique for open fracture. The investigators, patients, and analysts were aware about the treatment assignment. What study described the study as open label RCT. Blinding in an randomized control trial address which of the following biases? Ascertainment biases. Thank you.